So we're just going to go through what it is to join a Zoom and get involved. So we'll have a look at joining a meeting, participating in a meeting, Zoom on different devices, and Zoom etiquette. So to start with, let's have a look at, like, you know, what happens when you join. So you get the link, you'll receive the link already in your emails. You click on the link and the link will take you automatically into the meeting. So you don't have to do anything more than that. The link does it for you. It loads up a little plug-in on your device or on your computer, and it will open the Zoom meeting, and you will just appear like you have today in this meeting. Sometimes what will happen is that you could be in a waiting room. Normally that's the case. We haven't got our settings set up for the meeting room today, but normally you would. You have a meeting room and you have a password. The meeting room was a safety issue or security issue to stop people from bombing meetings that they were not invited to. So Zoom created, did a little bit more work with the safety side of things. That was the point of having the waiting room. So what happens is that normally when you go into the meeting, you'll be in the waiting room and then the host actually lets you in. So, and then everybody pops in one by one. What I think also is something that you need to really think about is adjusting your camera and the angle or the position of whatever the device is that you're on. So, like, for example, I'm on a laptop today. I've got my laptop sitting up on a caravan step, actually. Like, you know those caravan steps that have got those angled legs? I've got it sitting up on one of those so that it's really like in a direct line to my face, and I don't have to bend down or, have my head down. And I can move the top of my laptop around to get closer or to get a better view, or for the participants to have a better view. So it's always good to sort of like line up your camera and make sure you're sort of like in the middle of your picture view. It depends, I suppose, if you're on a handheld device, it's a bit different. Whether you want to have that held up like that or whether you want to be looking down, but it's more actually for the people that will see you, and particularly if you're actually presenting. So, after this, after today's session and after, Get Online Week, next week, you might decide to use Zoom far more regularly with your friends, and you could have coffee and so on over Zoom. And then when you're hosting, it's really sort of, I suppose, critical that where your angle is on your camera. And whether or not you've got, a webcam that sits up on the top of your computer or whether it's, in the lid of your laptop. Now, also on Zoom, there's a little toolbar. It's like a floating toolbar that'll pop up whenever you put your mouse or your cursor near it. So if you're on a computer, that taskbar is normally at the bottom. And if you move your cursor near the bottom, you'll see the little floating taskbar pop up. If you're on a handheld device like an iPad or something, that taskbar is normally at the top of the screen. And if you put your finger up near there and move your cursor up there near there, it will pop that down. It'll pop the floating taskbar down. Yep. So the taskbar is pretty crucial because that's where all the options are available. So that's where you can see mute, so on and off, and you can manage the volume and click the down arrow to the right of the picture to see the volume. Or if you're wearing like a headset like I'm wearing, so I'm not using the speakers of the computer, I'm using these speakers on my headset. So that takes over my computer and it makes everything around me. I can't hear anything else except for what's in here. And then beside the mute, so going along the bottom of the taskbar, so mute is usually first thing on the left-hand side. And then beside that, you'll see video. And it's the same. So video and mute, you can turn on and off. So if you have video off, your name will just appear on your box. So in Zoom, everybody comes up in a little box. If you don't have your video on, all that will be there is your name. It's probably good to say to people too, and we will be saying this, you know, when you go to your sessions next week in the Get Online week, is that you know, some people might not want to have their video on. They might not want their face on there. The sessions will be recorded. This session today is being recorded. So that means that when your face is showing, your face is being recorded. And for privacy issues, we need to tell you that because you might not want to have your face recorded. So, I mean, that's up to people, how people feel about that. Next to the video is the participants button. So if you click on the participants button, it'll pop up on the right-hand side of your screen and it'll give you a list of all the participants that are in your meeting. So you'll be able to see who's in there. You can also chat with those participants. So if you click on the chat box, that will come up also on the right-hand side of your screen underneath the participants list. So you can chat privately with a person, or you can chat publicly with anybody that's in the list. And it's a good thing, you know, where you have a meeting and people might have questions and they just want to jot down on chat a question so they don't forget what the question is that they want to ask. And then we can go through them later or so on. So chat's a really good option, particularly to help you remember what you want to ask. Because quite often, you know, the questions and answers are reserved for the end. So we don't need to do that though. If you've got a question, just, you know, jump in and say, you know, stop talking and ask what it is that you want to ask. So, and no question is stupid. So don't be worried about asking something that you think is too silly. Another thing to look at is the screen view options that you can have. So there's different screen views for different options. So when you're the speaker, you can have a speaker view, and so you will just see the speaker, the big picture of the speaker, and everybody else will be around the edges. Or you can have a gallery view, which will show like, well, all the boxes, everyone will be on there. It'll be like the Brady Bunch. So, and all the boxes will just appear, as many that can fit on your screen. So that's like the Brady Bunch view. It's called gallery. So everyone is in the gallery. You can turn it into a full screen, and that will then take off the participants and the chat boxes on the right-hand side as well. So the full screen, if you had a gallery view on a full screen, your whole screen would be full of everyone's pictures. Can you see where they are? So on your screens, in the top right-hand corner, you'll see screen view. You can click on those and just see, you know, a few different options for yourself, like, you know, speaker view, full screen, gallery view. So using on different devices. So I generally am having Zoom meetings and sessions on a laptop. I've got an iPad and I've got also a Samsung tablet and I've got a phone and so on. I don't really ever do it on my phone. I know people that do, and I couldn't be bothered with it. It's just, to me, it's too small, and And, you know, there's a consideration there too that, you know, if you're not on a Wi-Fi, 1 hour of Zoom session would use up about 1 gigabyte of data. So if you're on a phone or on a tablet that's got a SIM card in it and you're not using a Wi-Fi, you're going to run down your data pretty quickly. So you probably need to be in a Wi-Fi situation. But certainly on handheld devices and even on a computer, you can get a Zoom client app. So there's a couple of ways of getting into Zoom. So what I go in through the browser. I've downloaded that app. I've got it on my computer and I've got it also on my phone and on my tablets. And I can start a Zoom session from that. So I can schedule a meeting, or I can join a meeting, or I can start a meeting from that little icon on my desktop or on my tablet. And it's very simple. The other way is to go in through the browser on your computer. It's a bit different because it allows you to sign in with different logins and so on. And so that's how I got in today. But normally I would just use my Zoom client app. You can, as I said, you can schedule or start a meeting very easily from here. So I'm just on the next slide. I've got a picture of what the app looks like when you go in. So if you click on the little icon, this is what it comes up like. So you can join a meeting, or you can start a meeting, or you can schedule a meeting. All you have to do is click one of these things. And when you click schedule a meeting, if you change, you can go in, it gives you like a calendar event, and you put in your calendar, and as soon as you hit save, it actually takes you into your email so that you can email that link to whoever it is that you want to have a meeting with. So it's very, very easy to use. And I think you'll find that, you know, a lot of people, once they've started using Zoom, they'll start, instead of just being a participant and joining a meeting, you'll start initiating meetings. A lot of people are having sessions, you know, with their families where they do trivia questions and so on. You know, they might have like a Friday night happy hour and have a couple of drinks and have a trivia session with the family on Zoom. So there's lots of things that you can do, and that's a really good way for people to keep in touch at the moment. So, you know, feel free to have a go at that. The more you play around, the more at ease you'll become. And look, you can't really do anything wrong. You know, nothing, you're not going to break anything. So you just got to have a go and you know, have fun above all. The other thing I think to talk about is the etiquette. So everybody comes into the meeting at the start, their microphone is on mute, but everybody can unmute themselves. And so even, you know, the meetings in the settings, we set it up so that, you know, everybody's on mute when they join, but everybody has the option to reverse that and take the mute off. So people need to be aware that when they're talking, everybody will hear what they're saying. So even if you're talking to somebody in the room with you, everybody in the Zoom meeting will hear what you're saying. And remember that everybody can see you. So even if you're a host and you're just a little box somewhere on the screen and it doesn't look very big, everybody can still see you. So, you know, if somebody says anything, maybe it's not a good thing to, like, you know, go, oh, roll your eyes, because they will see it. So, and to limit the background noise is a really good thing too. Like, you know, I don't know about you, but I generally have the radio on during the day, and most of the time I don't even notice that it's on because it's just background noise. But if we're in a meeting, that noise would come into the meeting, and it's enough to, you know, annoy people, or it just affects the meeting. So it's better off to turn off the television, turn off any, radio or music that you've got in the background, and have it as quiet as possible so that everybody in the meeting has a good experience. And just another tip to the Zoom, that Zoom icon that I showed you, if you download that, it's free. It's free you can chat for 40 minutes. You can be on Zoom for 40 minutes for free. So, and even if you went for longer than 40 minutes, it will tell you when your 40 minutes is up and it'll lock you out, but you can dial back in again and start a meeting almost immediately with the same people. So, you can just say, hold on, another session's coming. So it's really, it's great that people can just get on for nothing and, have 40 minutes of free meeting and talking.